Hello and welcome, welcome, welcome. We're so glad that you're back. Today is episode 5 of series 2 for our show, What That Means Is. Thank you for joining us today, and we want to talk today. We have a little bit of a discussion concerning what our last episode was. We talked about C11, we unpacked a few things, and it's a really big deal. So in some ways, when we discuss that topic, I think a lot of people, including myself, you feel a lot of emotions. You feel helpless, you feel a little angry, you feel a little overwhelmed, you feel like a little unsteady and free falling. We want to know what we can do. Not that we have all the solutions here, but we certainly want to tackle some solutionary ideas. What we can do as a group here, what we suggest for you, and there is actually a lot to do. So, welcome again. My name is Rosalie Drysdale. This is Ken Drysdale, Chris Riddell. Hello. And we're going to just start talking about this. So we want to remind, actually, a big part of this is power to the people.
Oh, yeah.
And we want to talk about the role of MP and what your role is with your MP and how to motivate them. And we're just going to break all of that down.
Well, you know, we get hundreds of emails a week from right across the country. And actually beyond. We get emails from other countries as well who are watching our show and reading our information. And it's on the basis of that, those emails and those questions from our subscribers and from our viewers, and on our own observations over the last couple of years, that we're going to bring to you something that we think is a solution, or a very good potential solution that does a bunch of things. You know, Rosalie used the word just a little while ago, and I liked it. What was it you said? Solutionary problem. Well, you know,
I'm a lyricist. I make things up.
You know, when she said that, I was thinking what we're going to talk to you about is revolutionary, but it's really not. This is actually devolutionary. In other words, going backwards to what it was in the beginning and what it was meant to be. We've drifted so far in our democracy that we are no longer citizens of Canada. We are residents of Canada. If you're not participating, if you're not somehow bringing to bear the skills, the abilities that you have in the furtherance of our country, then you're a resident of this country, not a citizen. A citizen is someone who's contributing, and I don't mean just paying your taxes. I mean getting involved in the school boards, in the municipal elections, putting out your opinions.
Doing exactly what they don't want you to do is give your opinion.
Yeah, absolutely.
And supporting others that do.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And we're not talking about each person becoming a super person, you know, like you have to be spending all of your time and all of your money. There are people who are doing that in this country, right, guys?
Yeah, there are.
And we salute them. We salute all of them. What we're going to talk about doesn't in any way invalidate what other folks are doing. You know, different people have different skill sets, and we're always talking about what makes sense to us, and we, you know, as grassroots, ordinary folk Canadians. You know, there are people out there that have the skills and the resources to take the government to court. There's people out there who are marching on the streets with signs. There are people that are writing letters to their MPs. They have that skill set. And so we're not invalidating any of that. We support it. We embrace it, right, guys?
Yeah.
We think that's fantastic. You know, you're not only citizens when you're participating, you are patriots. But I think Chris wants to talk to you a little bit about something that has been suggested to us by a lot of our viewers, and we've been discussing it, and Chris keeps pounding us on it, and that's really the background of this episode.
But before you do that, I also want to say that all the other webcasters and podcasters all over the country, we have to walk in lockstep, and we really do. We cheer you on. We're all necessary. We're not in competition with each other. This is not a competition. We've got to keep our eye on the ball, and that's freedom. The freedom of this country, freedom of speech, etc. But we are not in competition with anybody, and that's important to know.
And just a little demonstration of that. And these guys, by the way, you know how I am? None of this is rehearsed. They don't know what I'm going to do.
Neither does he know what we're going to do.
You're going to see this as I do it. And the first thing I'm going to, and I want to drive home that about, you know, walking along with us and other podcasters and other people, even though you don't agree with everything they're doing. Maybe you're tired of me wearing a suit jacket, and oh, that's no good, I don't want to listen to him, he's an elitist or something. But I want to demonstrate something to you. Now, Rosalie's sitting here. She doesn't know what I'm going to do. But watch this. That's her standing alone. Now, I'm going to link my arm with her, and Chris is going to link his arm with her. Look how much more strong we are.
Stability.
And did you notice what I just did? When you did that, I was going to sit like this. And then when we did, I went,
Yeah,
I felt
that's
empowered.
true.
My point here is this. We're much, much stronger, but we're only connected by our arms. Our bodies aren't connected more than that. We're not 100% in agreement or in connection with each other. But even this little connection,
Our elbows are in connection.
this little connection, maybe it's 5% of us. We're much, much stronger together, just linked together, not agreeing with everything, but linked together for a common cause.
Amen, brother.
Yeah.
You're good.
Yeah.
Wow.
No, that was
so
good.
true.
So
so
now,
true.
now I'll shut up and turn this over
So
to
No,
Chris.
that's
representation,
fine.
I was going to ask you, so representing, like we're going to talk about the MPs, you're going to talk about the organization, but how are they representing us? How are the MPs representing us? How are we as Canadian citizens being represented? How is the line being towed for us, and how do we tow that line for ourselves?
Well, probably the best way that I could answer that question is in our last attempts at meeting with our MP and trying to present information and get information or share information with that person who we pay, by the way, and actually see, does this guy represent us, or who is his loyalty to? And it became very obvious that it's not to us. He was hiding, dancing, shucking, and jiving to avoid any kind of meeting with us at all.
It only took us 11 months.
It
Chris.
only took
Yeah.
us 11 months, and we actually got to a point where a woman who feels she's a friend of his was able to get us in for 30 minutes, 4 people.
Who knew that our government officials' real talent was dancing?
And the people were screened, by the way, by him.
Oh, for sure, for sure.
There were certain people who were constituents that he didn't want to meet with.
Yeah, yeah. He and it was funny because he gave us reasons that he didn't want to meet those constituents, which I thought were kind of school ground little excuses. I don't talk to that person because they pushed me on the swing once or whatever. And I was embarrassed for that individual. If you're going to jump into that arena, you better toughen up a little bit, pal.
Yeah.
You know, so, and that goes back to me asking to meet with him, calling his office when he said, I'll be meeting constituents all summer. So I followed up saying, okay, well, tell me your schedule. I'd love to meet with you. Nope, for security reasons, we don't put out our schedule. Yet then Ken did the exercise where he checked on what the other 13 constituents were doing in Manitoba. Oh, everybody was saying what they were going to be
Same
doing.
thing.
So
Absolutely.
this guy was threatened, obviously. Well, I don't know what happened. But anyway, it became very clear that he was unaccountable. I remember being in the meetings, pushing my chair back and just going, this individual is unaccountable to the constituents. I don't even know he's accountable to his to the parliament, because he then told us he couldn't meet. He gave us 30 minutes. We decided let's spend that time trying to get a town hall meeting or another meeting with this guy with more people in a bigger venue. And he just continued to dance around that, saying stuff like, well, January, February's out. I have a personal thing to attend to. And, well, so who's your replacement while you're on this leave of absence? Should have been my question. But I'm sure he's getting the 4 checks over those 2 months. But
So then, as part of the solution, getting these MPs to do our bidding, and how do we get them to do that?
yeah, that's what I've been exposed to, a group, a Canadian-wide group that's just started bouncing around some ideas about how are we going to hold these people's feet to the fire. And the idea is to do this with school board people, RM people involved of your councils of your rural municipalities, your government, provincial government people, your federal government people, any big organization that has a group that, because we've been taught for the last 30, I'm going to say 40 years, you go somewhere, a social thing, don't talk about politics and religion.
Yeah.
Well, I think probably that's what we should have been talking about. And there we are back with our information. You know, we should be talking about politics and religion, and we're not.
Right.
Yeah.
So we should be. And politics, where everybody just kind of hands off with this guy that was willing to get in a plane every week and go to Ottawa.
On our dime.
He's become, we'll pay the money, but he's become unaccountable.
Yeah.
So,
How do we rein that in, Chris?
Well,
It's so important. Like, our
yeah.
freedom is at stake. How do we, and I think that's a lot of people's almost panic sometimes.
well, sure, and people for the last 3 years, and I've done this myself. You see somebody online saying what you want to hear, and you thought, I gotta look more into this guy, and I always called it due diligence. You'd look into, okay, what's behind this guy? Is he credible? That kind of thing. I wouldn't go into different things like, I don't know, family background, all that stuff. That didn't matter to me. If this guy came with a message, you know, I didn't
Was
care.
willing to work.
Was willing to work and actually walk the talk, I'd keep following him. And then if I found out, okay, no, that didn't work, or this guy's told too many things that aren't adding up, you kind of move on. But I explained it to a friend of mine the other day. It's like wading through a pool, and there's a bunch of different things, and you're trying to save yourself and look for solutions, and you come up to something, you look at it, no, don't, that's not going to be it. Keep moving and keep moving, and you get to. That's how I got to you guys with the report. I'm following this Dr. Trozzi, and I found the 89-page report online. That I can stand behind this after I did some due diligence.
Right.
And to keep working. Now, what I think we found is that most politicians, when they get sworn in, I mean, let's face it, Rosalie, if you decided I'm going to run for Parliament, you would be doing it for what you would perceive to be the right reasons, as I'm sure everybody started that way. I'm going to do this for the right reasons. I want to help people.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, I don't doubt that.
and help make changes. And then so you'd go in after you got voted in, and there's a swearing in ceremony, I understand, and there would be a pledge or an oath taken, and they're taking it. They're not taking it to their constituents. They're taking it to the Queen, the Crown, whoever it is there. Well, to me, that's upside down.
Yeah.
So if I'm sending my guy to battle for me, I want him to be loyal to me. I want him to pledge an oath to me that he'll let me know what's going on.
And then check in with me to make sure that he's doing it the way I want him to do it.
To be accountable
Yeah.
and to be transparent, so that I know what he's doing, and we can go about our day-to-day lives like we have for 30 years or 40 years or whatever it is, and we know that this guy's going to come back with the goods, and he's going to answer questions.
I guess we haven't realized over the years how much we needed to rein this in. We've just let go of
Yep.
the reins,
Yep.
and it's just gone wild and out of control. But now the whole job of reining it back in, because these guys are essential to us, the MPs. These are our, if we don't gather that in, well then, I mean, Ottawa is completely out of reach.
Well, if you talk about change, most people are very resistant to change. So when you hear people saying, oh, we got to blow this up, oh, we have to do this, we have to do that, that's too much change.
Yeah.
We need to, we already
it's a little
have,
violent, too.
we have a system, we just need to flip it back the way it was supposed to be. Where I voted for you, you're going to be my representative in Winnipeg, in Ottawa, wherever it is, on my student council or on my
School board.
Yeah, thanks. That's fine. I'm going to get you to agree to this pledge or oath, and you're going to pledge to me that you're going to communicate, be transparent, and talk to me about the problems and what's happening to you.
Okay,
Well,
so
like what's happening to you in
all
there.
right, so that, okay, is that now somebody who is at home watching this, sitting on their couch, saying, okay, I'm really mad, I'm really concerned. That what's their first move? What do they go, just on a practical level? Do they go to the school board? What if they don't have kids at school? What's the first thing? What do people do in their feeling of, because we're so out of practice, decades
We are
of
totally out of
not getting
practice.
involved.
Yeah.
We don't even know how to stand.
No.
We don't even know how to say, who wants to hear our opinion?
Yeah, and that's part of the problem. You know, as a society, we often delegate. And so we've
Yeah.
delegated our representative government to these representatives who don't represent us and don't even want to talk to us unless we're paying $135 for a chicken dinner at Christmas with
Yeah.
our MP.
Yeah.
Which, in my opinion, I'm not a lawyer, is a bribe. They used to call it pay for play, didn't they, on the radio business? You know, you guys, if you wanna understand what we're talking about a little bit more, ask yourself the question. Do you think your MP, your MLA, your mayor, whoever it is, do they encourage communication with you? Do you feel that their loyalty is towards their party or to you? Do you see changes in this country embracing what you believe in and what you want as opposed to an industry group or a special interest group? Are they addressing your concerns, the concerns of citizens, hardworking people in this country? And so then we come to,
And
well,
do they know your concerns?
yes, and or will they listen? Because they get into this Ottawa bubble.
And how do we
Which-
make them listen to us?
That's exactly
That's-
right.
Right.
Back
Right.
to you, Chris.
Well, that's really interesting, Ken. So what do we get? What do we do? Like, what does somebody that has never had any, they've never been on a board, they don't have any board governance training, they've never stepped out of their comfort zone, because that is what you're going to feel like you're going to have to do. But when you're going to have to talk to someone, and I think that we need a citizens group to come out around each person, almost like an overseer, and watch this person and say, okay, you're supposed to meet us, whether it's every 2 months or something that we'll agree on down the road, and say, you need to pledge to us that you'll meet with us, maybe monthly, maybe 2 months, every 2 months, and be accessible to give us answers and tell us what you're doing. We're going to know how you vote on everything. We're going to know whether you're even there, right?
I have a suggestion, and it's more than a suggestion. I'm really telling you guys this. Canadians have a global reputation of being polite. And we are polite. We have more politeness. We could sell it. We've got so much politeness. Don't worry about it. You're polite. We could use a little less politeness. Don't be so polite. Go to these meetings. I'm not saying be rude. You're far from it. It's a far stretch. But go and let your voice be heard. Don't worry about being polite or ill-mannered. This is not a time when you're trying to save your freedom. It's a time to be forthright, stand up.
How many times have you guys heard, when you're talking to someone about what we think is some terrible atrocity being done to us by the powers that be, somebody will answer with, well, it is what it is.
Yeah.
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 Wow.
It will be what it will be.
I don't know what that means. But it's almost embarrassing
Yeah.
to hear that. Oh, 'cause, so you're shutting down this talk,
Yeah, this conversation.
This conversation.
Yeah.
But I think that without spending 40 hours a week, without spending $40 a month, we can become involved in overseeing our one guy. I think we don't even know what number of a group we'd need to keep an eye on a person like that. Might be 10, might be 100. We'll see how many people want to be involved. Why not have everybody? Like, there doesn't need to be a hierarchy of people. I'm the only guy that gets to talk to that guy. Who does that sound like? But everybody shares that information, almost like a blockchain spreading of information. So I might see something that, or Ken might see something I didn't see. Rosalie might see something that Ken didn't see. On this information coming back from this guy who pledged to be there representing you. And I would like the pledge to be solid enough and have that guy sign off that if you don't meet these 5 standards, 10 standards, I don't know what we're going to come up with, you step down. Because you've not done what you said you
Yep.
were going to do.
Yep.
Step down.
Yep.
It's like for this guy to leave, say I'll be busy January, February with personal things. Well, you're kind of abandoning your post. Oh, by the way, I shouldn't bash him too hard because he did say maybe next fall of 2023 he will agree to meet with us in a town hall
And
meeting.
those of you who have employees, how well would that sit with you?
How
if
well
your
would that
employees
sit
said
with
that-
you if you were an employee of somebody that was like that and you were trying to do your job?
Yeah.
Well, it's the same thing. Sorry, I cut you off there.
No, I cut you
well,
off.
I'm Canadian,
actually.
so I'm
no, I'm sorry. I
apologizing.
really,
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
So what we're really talking about here, folks, is we're not talking about a new political party.
No.
That's not what we're talking about. What we're talking about is citizens getting together in geographical areas, and haven't even worked that out yet. But perhaps in Manitoba or in Ontario as a geographical area, and you create a database of citizens who are concerned. And in that database, we identified, what federal riding you're in, what provincial riding you're in, what municipality you're in, what school boards you were in. And when issues come up, or people who are in these voting groups, because that's what we're talking about, folks, they're not afraid of you, except when you vote as a bloc. So, Liberals, Conservatives, NDP, Quebecois, I don't care what party you're in, but you're in a citizen group and a voting bloc. And the power that you have against these supposed elected officials is you have, don't know the number, is it 5,000 in a federal riding? Is it 100 in a municipal riding? But by identifying what your stripes are, we can communicate with you, and we can communicate with each other. Say what the issues are. Write a letter from our community group to our MP and say, well, there's 10,000 people in this community group, and we are demanding that you sit down with us and you have a town hall meeting on such and such a date. And you know what? They'll listen to you. Because in the next election, when 10,000 of you vote in a particular way, they're out, they're gone, and they'll know that. We'll make them aware of that. And
Volume and volume.
yeah, like
Volume and volume.
link-
Volume of voices.
Yeah.
Your,
Yeah.
let yourself be heard, and volume of mass, of your mass.
and linking of
Yeah.
arms together.
Yeah.
I don't care if you're a liberal or a
Mm-hmm.
conservative or an NDP or whatever else in between. And the fact is that we link together for strength. And the issues, what we all have seen in the last little while, have nothing to do with PC
No.
or liberal.
No, that's for sure.
They're all in the same
Yeah.
Yeah.
boat.
It's we the people.
Yeah,
It's we the people.
yeah, it's we are the only ones standing here. And so when we organize into these voting blocks and we do it across the country, and we're flexible enough that if it's a municipal issue, we have enough voters to make a difference, to make an ultimatum to these people. You're not doing this, because if you do, we will vote you all out. And we did a post a little while ago. You guys will remember there's a municipal election here, and I actually looked through Elections Canada and saw that a lot of these municipal elections are turned by 12 votes or 50 votes. Guess what? You got 100 people in your rural municipality who are willing to vote together and make them accountable. And then when you go to provincial elections, it's a little more. I know in our riding, we are all live in the same riding federally. There's, I think, 74,000 eligible voters and 30-something thousand voted last time around.
So that's a good indication that all you even have to do is make yourself aware and vote
Right,
to
yeah,
get involved.
yeah.
You get off your butt, drive to your elections voting station and vote. That's probably one of the top 3 things you can do as someone who's going from zero, starting at zero. Make sure you vote. Get informed.
Find out what your
up-
candidates stand for, who
well,
they are.
exactly, and find out without just reading their propaganda, or maybe that's not
Their
the right
campaign
word, their campaign
information. yeah.
information. And I stopped at a gas station a while ago, and there was a note up there. This fellow, who I know, went to school with, is going to run for. He wants to run for provincial government in the next election. And I thought to myself, if we had this pledge or oath drawn up already, and I went to him and said, okay, would you be willing to make this pledge or this oath to the constituents? Because once you get over there, we're not sure if we're ever going to see you again. Because
Yeah.
history is a better indicator of promises, right? Always. So if he doesn't, if he says, no, I'm not going to do that, well, go back to your
Yeah.
farm then, because I'll make sure you don't get any votes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah.
so the person that is doing it for the right reasons, say for yourself, that would say, yeah, give me this thing. I'll even add a couple things.
Yeah.
And this is what I'm prepared to do. If I can't do this, I'm not the right person. I'll step down, and we'll get the right person.
Yeah.
And this is how we're going to hold feet to the fire. Like I said, this is so new, but we've already got people across Canada interested in this. Anybody I talk to about it, they're like, that is a good idea. And nobody said that's a bad idea. So it doesn't matter, like Ken said, whether they're whatever party they're in. They could be in the Communist Party of Canada. Aren't you still going to want your leader to do what he said he's going to do when he left his constituency and goes out there to do battle in whatever arena for supporting or representing you? You still want to make sure you wouldn't go, nah, he's fine. I trust this guy. He's
Yeah,
good.
trust-
No, we've all been there.
Oh boy.
Yeah,
Oh boy.
yeah. You're just gonna have to take my word for it. I heard that one a while
So
ago.
everybody's responsible. Sorry.
Yeah.
Just to keep your ear to the
No,
ground.
you're very right. You're very right. Everybody is responsible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
nobody, someone else will do it. I think that's what we've all been waiting for.
Yeah.
And we've been distracted
Right.
with the next white knight coming down the pipe. And this is
Right.
a way we can do it, making very minimal changes.
Yeah.
The process is there. The setup is all there. We just need to make these people accountable and to bring some transparency. So
100%.
Yeah, we have to recognize that our power is the vote. And as long as we're split up along party lines and they can count on that, and you'll notice lately, governments get in with 32% of the popular vote, and then they start making fundamental changes to our country. I don't care what party you are, I'm not sure that any of us signed on for that.
no.
And so the only power that we have, we can protest, and I'm not saying anything wrong with that. That's educating people and getting attention to the issues. But our power is in our ability to come together
Yep.
and to use our vote as a block, and so that our representatives know that when you promise us something and you go in and do the opposite, you're not going to be there in the next election.
You're done.
Guaranteed.
Volume and volume. Volume of decibel and volume of mass. It's that's I'm telling you. So we're gonna call it quits on this one,
Yep.
but this is an important subject. And please send us your comments and your thoughts. Anything else you want to add to that?
Just that there'll be updates as this group gets a name and gets growing. We'll give you updates as to what's
Right.
going on,
Yep.
and
Thanks,
we'll have
Chris.
a link to on our website about to getting involved, because we all agree that we've all agreed that this is a very good thing to get behind and get people making these other people accountable who are responsible for where we are sitting today.
Yep.
Yep.
With our taxes, our gas prices, all that stuff. It's all on them. It's not on the farmer having more than 6 chickens in his yard. That's
And this is
just
your
not-
opportunity
Yeah.
to get involved.
Absolutely.
Your opportunity, because we need your voice.
Yep.
We need every single person. You're highly intelligent, you're highly capable, you're highly creative. You are a part of this country. This country belongs to you. So it's your opportunity. Don't waste a second. Get involved. Like you said, Ken, or did you say, I can't remember, I think you said, that we were waiting for somebody to do it for us. We wanted, we're all
white
looking,
knight.
we're all looking for the savior. You're the savior.
Yeah.
We're all it.
Yeah.
So we're in this together.
And again, we're not talking about a superhuman effort here.
Right.
We're talking about make yourself known to the
Exactly.
to the groups, the local groups. Talk to your neighbor about it. Even though it's not completely done now, talk to your neighbor about it, your brother, your sister, your cousin, your mom, your dad, your minister. Mention it to them. This is what's happening. What do you think about this? Get the word out there. And then when the organization catches up to you, and you should be leading the organization. I don't care if it's government. I don't care if it's this thing. You need to lead it. But you don't need to spend. This isn't a full-time job. It doesn't
No,
need to be.
not at all.
You don't need to spend all your savings on this. We're not talking about spending money. We're talking about spending a little bit of your time and becoming a citizen rather than a resident.
Let your voice be heard. That's it.
Yeah.
We were going to talk about debating, but we can do that another time.
Yeah.
Like healthy debates, how that works, is all important too. We
By
don't have to
the-
be yelling and screaming at each other. You can disagree.
Yeah.
That's all a part of
But
relationship.
don't walk away.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it's all a part of a relationship. It's all a part of getting the job done. And a lot of times when you disagree, you start to think, oh, that is not a bad idea.
Yeah.
You know, I don't like what you said at first, and I didn't actually like the way you said it, but as an example, okay, because we don't always like the way each other communicates. But, you know, as I think about it, I'm being open-minded, as I'm thinking about what you're saying, you're thinking about what, maybe we do have more of a common idea here than what we thought in the first place. We don't have to start calling each other names and racists
No.
and you name it.
We can disagree and still agree on something higher. You know, I had a funny experience just the other day. I have a dear friend of mine who's been a really good friend of mine since I think I was 4 years old, and I knew his father before that, believe it or not, and hadn't talked to him for a while. And I know that he's on the opposite spectrum of a lot of these things that we've been talking to you about in these last 16 episodes or so. And I didn't really want to emphasize that to him in the conversation. We hadn't talked in several months, and he asked me what I was doing, what was taking up my time. Well, folks, this is taking up most of my time.
You
Thanks
can
for
believe that.
asking.
And
yeah.
so I said to this lifelong friend of mine, well, you know, I'm involved in these things that are going on in our country right now. And he said, yeah, you know, Ken, we've been friends for 60 years, but you know, we've never agreed on a whole lot of stuff. And you know what? That bothered me when he said that, but it's illustrative. We're dear friends and have been for over 60
We've
years.
socialized a lot.
And socialize all the time, but on certain things we never agreed. But that doesn't stop us from being together and being friends and moving on in life, arm in arm as a community. And that's the same with every one of us.
Remember, we have to remember each other's humanity.
Yeah.
That's an important part to unity. We can be united, even if it's on a few things, but we have to see each other's humanity and remember that. Remember to keep our eye on the ball and that we're important. Everybody has an important role to play. Even if you don't agree with the person, we don't have to be enemies
No.
just because we disagree.
All right. So
Okay.
is that it?
Yeah, so signing off today on this episode. Thank you again for joining us, and we'll see you next week. So goodbye from Rosalie Drysdale.
Ken Drysdale.
Chris Riddell.
Take care.
Bye-bye.